Now stick around and watch the rest of this video as I unbox and give you my first impressions of the Resident Evil 3 Remake Collector's Edition. Here we go! G'day guys, how's it going? My name is Alex and welcome to Rangacorn Games. So today, as you can probably tell, we're going to be unboxing the Collector's Edition for the remake of Resident Evil 3. I myself was extremely lucky to get my hands on this Collector's Edition, as within Australia it sold out fairly quickly. Now the release date for the remake of Resident Evil 3 is Friday the 3rd of April, and if you do manage to find a copy of this in store, the Collector's Edition will set you back $429.95. First things first, as always, let's take a quick look at the outside box. So my first impressions are it's pretty much identical to the Collector's Edition that was released for the remake of Resident Evil 2. But instead of the Raccoon Police Department badge on top here, it has the STARS badge. Now, the next thing I notice is that the design is pretty much exactly the same as that Collector's Edition as well, with the main difference being the colour of the box itself. And obviously the contents which are included inside. Now I'm pretty sure that both collector's editions cost roughly about the same, but unfortunately this collector's edition here actually includes a lot less than what the original did. Now that we've had a quick look at the outside packaging, let's unbox this sucker and see what's inside. Honestly, there is nothing more satisfying than cutting into a brand new unsealed collector's edition for the first time. Especially a game like this that I've been waiting for so long. Now, I've personally been so excited for this collector's edition ever since I unboxed the previous one, which came with the Resident Evil 2 remake. So hopefully this one is just as impressive, as it's really quickly become one of my favourite items within my collection. So let's have a look inside. Now, I really like that Capcom has kept the original design for the last loot box, as they will display really well together. So the first thing I see here is the Project N and Project R, which I can only assume is the art book. So just remember that there may be some spoilers, but I will put a warning up just before we have a look at what's inside this classified file. Keeping with the theme of the game, Capcom has used a government classified file style to show some of the concepts seen throughout the game. So as you can see here, it uses documents such as photographs, various reports, and also some documents in government files on the different characters. Now the next item that we're removing from the item box is this map. So it is actually a double-sided poster that has a map on one side and some different, I don't know, we call it advertisements on the other, and you can display it either on a wall or you could get it framed. As you can see here, it shows you the different areas you can explore within Raccoon City. And it is definitely keeping with the in-game theme, because you would assume this map would be something one of the in-game characters would have. On the other side, as you can see, there are different advertisements and that for Umbrella and that, which hopefully you'll be able to see throughout the game. The next item to be found in the item box is the actual game itself. So the collector's edition, unfortunately this time round, didn't come with the steelbook, unlike the original. I don't actually think they have a steelbook version for this. It does have a pretty cool cover though, where they've used a lenticular style design, and I'm actually quite impressed with it. The actual game provided though is just the standard edition, so there are no extra codes or anything included with this collector's edition. The next thing out of the box we're going to have a look at is this Resident Evil 3 special soundtrack. So I actually quite like the way that they've designed this. So they've got, as you can see, the cover art on the front here, and mentions the Resident Evil 3 sound and development team on the back. And it does include quite a few different songs throughout the game for both the Resident Evil Remake and also the new online game, which releases alongside it and comes as part of the game, which I'm actually quite excited to give a go because it sounds like it's going to be quite interesting. And the last item included with this collector's edition is the one we've all been waiting for, the Jill Valentine figurine. So I've really been looking forward to add Jill next to my Leon S. Kennedy figurine from the Resident Evil 2 collector's edition. And I'm super excited to see how detailed this Jill Valentine statue is going to be, considering how detailed the Leon one was. I was quite impressed, and hopefully this Jill statue is just as impressive. Now, it does take me a little bit to get into it because I didn't want to wreck the box, but from here we'll skip to where I've pulled everything out because you really don't want to see all that. Alright, so the first thing I noticed with this is that the base of it is pretty much exactly the same as the one for Leon S. Kennedy from the Resi 2 edition, except instead of the Raccoon Police Department badge, it has the stars one. So it also includes this little tiny Glock and of course the actual figure of Jill herself. Now hopefully this figure is quite as detailed as the Leon S. Kennedy one was. And my first impressions are it pretty much is, and I just wanted to set this thing up and have a proper look at it. Now, the Glock itself was a little bit hard to get in, and as was getting Jill attached to the stand, but I guess that design is good because the pressure of her legs trying to separate will actually help hold her stable on the stand itself, so she shouldn't go flying off or anything. Now, the base itself is quite well designed and it actually feels quite stable, so I don't think Jill will be toppling over anytime soon. So I should be able to display this statue alongside my Leon one, and I cannot wait to find the room to be able to do that. I was also quite impressed with the amount of detail that they've put into her boots and jeans. They actually look quite lifelike, and that's what I really liked about the Leon S. Kennedy statue as well, is it actually looked like he came straight out of the game. The next part I was quite impressed with was her tactical belt and her thigh holster. So they've gone into an incredible amount of detail with all of this, including all the different pouches in which she would keep her non-lethal options. And of course her thigh holster in which she would keep her Glock. I'm also quite impressed with the amount of detail that they've put into the arm holster there, as well as the little flashlight there on her shoulder, and the singlet in which she's wearing is extremely detailed and almost looks lifelike. So I'm quite impressed with this figure so far. And the last bit of the statue which actually quite impressed me was the amount of detail that has gone into her face and also her hair. While the figure of Jill is quite impressive, it pales in comparison to the amount of detail and realism that went into the Leon S. Kennedy one, and I'm only slightly disappointed with that. So there you have it, guys, your first look at the collector's edition for the Resident Evil 3 remake, and my first impressions with it. My final thoughts are that I am quite impressed with this collector's edition. I'm only a little disappointed that it didn't include a steelbook, and I do wish it had as much detail and goodies as was included in the first one for the Resident Evil 2 remake. All in all though, I am quite impressed and I'm super happy to have it. Now if you liked this video or found it informative, hit that like button and share it with your friends. If you have any ideas for future videos, let me know in the comments below. Also, feel free to follow me on any of my social media accounts, which I will list in the description below. I would also like to thank everyone who has recently subscribed to my channel, and as always, I had fun making this video and hopefully you enjoyed it. Catch you later, guys.